Urban Renewal Authority. This is June the 26th, 2019. This is 5:45 p.m. and this is a special meeting of the Trinidad Urban Renewal Authority. Item number 1 on the agenda this evening is going to be roll call. You in charge?
I guess so. Lonnie?
Here.
Leone?
Here. I'm sorry. Bolton?
Here.
Grego?
Here.
Lopez?
Yes, here.
Terabino?
Present.
And
Okay.
Here.
Told you we've got too much work on your plate. Item number 2, consideration of La Puerta Phase 1 development and the cost sharing agreement. That information was sent out in the packet earlier. It's a revised of some of those, of what we were able to listen to at a recent executive session. I hope everyone has had an opportunity to review it. Greg, I'll let you take it forward and then we can ask questions as far.
okay. The documents were revised based on the discussion last Monday, I think, a week ago. And they were approved by the city council on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And I think Monday. And there were a few questions that came up. One was whether the 0.5% is enough money for urban renewal. At this point, I think it is. If we have to hire additional staff to manage this, that would be different, but I just don't think we're gonna have to do that at this point. I don't know, I'll visit with Mike Dixon just to see what his suggestions are for accounting for this. He may suggest that we establish an entirely different checking account to keep this totally separate. From an accounting standpoint, I don't need to do that, but maybe from a communication standpoint, we should. So, also, this document requires that we pay the bill within 15 days, and I know that doesn't line up with meetings of urban renewal, but according to Malcolm Murray, if you sign this document, then you are authorizing the payments within 15 days, so if they can be made whether you pre-approve them or not.
Now this is on the Phase 1 development.
Yes,
portion.
this
It
is,
has nothing to do with the cost share.
this is the construction of the
Sewer.
street, the water, sewer, those kind of things. And also they are going to be constructing the sewer trunk line, sewer transmission line, within La Puerta itself. We divided that into 2 phases because we just weren't making a lot of progress with the railroad, and we don't need the railroad to do the part of La Puerta. So by doing this, it won't give them the capacity they need in the sewer main. It won't give us the capacity we need as a city, because it'll connect it back to a smaller main right on the other side of La Puerta. We still have to get that thing done with the railroad. And we're hoping to get that approval in the next month or so we can take this to bid.
So I have a question regarding the part where, I mean, it's between the city and La Puerta, the developer, to take this forward as far as that. Why is the Urban Renewal Authority need to be the keeper of the funds and to take care of the distribution of funds? Why are we a disinterested third party, or?
More or less, this is what Malcolm Murray was suggesting, that by doing this, both of the funding parties to this thing would deposit the money with La Puerta, or with Urban Renewal, and by doing that, there's somebody else in the middle of this. We don't end up with arguments of you gave money and I didn't give money and you need to pay this. So everybody puts the money that's due up front right away.
And we truly have acted like a conduit for their funding.
Right. And then
Since the
the
inception.
only way that bills get paid is when we get signed requisitions that come from an engineer. So it's not just someone saying, pay me this, I did this work. It's an engineer saying, I watched this work get done, it got done, it was laid properly, all of this stuff. so we have protections. I'm a big supporter of having, either an engineer or an engineering tech on site while the entire construction of something is happening, because when a contractor can literally bury their work, once it's buried, you can't go back and find out whether it was done right. You need somebody that knows what that construction is supposed to look like, can read the plans, and tell you that they're doing it correctly. So that will be part of it too.
Greg, can you go back to the payments? So they have to, it has to be paid within 15 days,
Yes.
and even if we can't convene or approve, or how does that work?
That's okay. You're not under the restrictions the city council is. Urban renewal is not governed that way.
So,
I think her question is, how do we get, if it's a 15-day time, we meet monthly?
You don't have to meet to pay this bill.
Okay, so,
You are agreeing to this document, and therefore, as the payments come in, or as the bills come in justified by the engineer, we can just pay it.
we can just pay them, then we'll review them at the subsequent meeting,
Yeah.
if that's when the payments happen.
So you'll be aware, I'll give you an accounting all the time of all of the payments made, so you know exactly what's happening.
Basically, you're the authorized.
Yeah,
so you'll see that, the certified, engineered.
yeah, we're not just gonna write checks, that'd be a really bad idea, so.
Well, the city's got as much at stake as, more at stake.
More, the city's
than
putting
yeah.
2.2 million into this thing, and of that 2.2 million, 1.6 is money that's being fronted, so the city will get its money back. The only part that we won't get back is sewer trunk line, that's our deal. We are applying for a DOLA grant, so fingers crossed, but,
Is that why Mr. Garcia was here yesterday?
no, he was here because of the rural funders group.
Oh, that's right, the other group was here.
Okay, get to my, okay, so that pretty much takes care of that portion. Now, are we looking at these we have to do some passage tonight, right?
Yes.
Okay. We move on to, the, cost share agreement.
Okay.
Now, here's where, and I gave you my question earlier, and my question is on that 0.5%, there would be the administrative, that we would be able to recover as administrative fee as this goes on. In the definitions, it's clear, it does indicate, right up right at the top of the list, it does indicate, I don't know if I go by page -46 on the information provided, the authority administrative fee, and it goes on and says it, it amounts to a number of 0.5% to 0.5%. And it is in the definitions and qualifications. But as you go into the body of the document,
That word doesn't show up.
that
anywhere.
does not appear anywhere.
Nothing says that they're gonna pay us that 0.5%.
Yeah, so in that case, is like, you know, this probably won't be like right away, but somewhere down the line, if it's not us here, our successors on this board, you know, when that time comes, it's time to collect for the services you provide, there's nothing in there that says they're gonna pay for it. It's in the, in the definitions, it says it. But there's a lot of stuff in the definitions, actually, if you go in there's a lot of stuff in definitions that aren't contained inside the body of the agreement either. But
It is a little strange, the definition goes way past what I would call a definition, because it talks about how it's going to be implemented. It would have been nice to just say the administrative fee is, and you finish it in one sentence, and the rest of the stuff really is implementation. Because it talks about that it is paid for by the pledged property tax increment coming from the county treasurer, and so that's in here. It really doesn't belong in the definition, but it is. So that's where the obligation to pay that to urban renewal comes from, is it's actually in the definition.
So how does it get into the body of the,
I don't think it has to be, it's still in the contract, the definition is part of the contract. I wish they would have not done it that way, but it would have been cleaner to have a separate section.
Yeah, that was my thought. When I saw it, I mean, I went through I scoured this thing and there's a lot of different things that are defined in there. But when it comes to that part, because there are, as you talk about the duties and responsibilities of the Urban Renewal Authority, as time goes on, there's going to be a lot of accounting. There's going to be a lot of fund disbursement, which is not only the TIF that we are going to give back, which brings me to another question. Is not the TIF isn't it go directly from the county to the developer?
No, it goes to urban renewal.
You go to what? I thought that one went. So then there's 2.25% of sales tax that has to come, that the city has agreed to, that will come to us, that we have to disperse
Right.
to them as well. Plus that money that for the bid district the bid district and I'm sure they're going to seek bonds into the future. I mean, it's so when all of that revenue, that's supposed to come to TURA, which actually then is back dispersed to them. So,
But we keep 0.5%.
do we get to renegotiate
0.5%
that
of the property tax base.
property tax base? Which they're right now, there's an estimate of $60,000.
I have
don't see
no
it.
idea what.
Well, that's a number they threw out
Yeah.
that
Yes, it
night that
is.
we were here.
Yeah.
It is, I don't know if I can easily tell you what that's.
Well,
based
yeah,
on.
I will, but I don't know that any of us could
Doesn't
calculate
matter.
it. That personally, I think that's a shortfall for a long time. So we're, at some point, and, again, down the line, because I'm looking at other people that are gonna have to, once I'm not here, or we're not here, somebody's gonna have to live with this. Or is there any way to say that becomes negotiable into the future?
That's,
It does say
that's
that.
the
It
problem,
does say
it's
that.
in this definition, that's why I said it would be better if the definition just defined the administrative fee, but it doesn't, it goes into the implementation pretty deep. It says that each year, there will be an annual review of actual costs incurred by urban renewal, and that percent can be adjusted if the actual costs are higher. It says that in there.
It says that in the definition.
It just doesn't belong in the
I still,
definition.
I know, I still agree with them, it's definitions.
It's weird that they put it there, but they did.
and then how is it dispersed?
How is what dispersed?
The 0.5%.
It just comes to urban renewal, helps cover costs.
And administration fee, pretty much is what that is.
It does say definitions and qualifications, yeah.
I mean, it's there, and I guess if city council was comfortable with it, but at the same time, it's urban renewal that's charged with that responsibility, and if there's it's more than likely at some point, in order for all that to happen, I don't know if that's, can that be handled in-house? That's the other thing, can it be handled here, or are we gonna have to use an outside firm, a third party?
We may have to, and if that happens, our costs will be higher, and then it's adjusted.
And we can assess them
Yeah.
to the degree.
Yeah, because it says that if our actual costs incurred are different or exceed the amount of money that we're getting, that number will be adjusted.
In my estimation, it's probably going to be sooner than later.
Once you get into bonds and stuff, it's to make it way more complicated.
Yeah, I see a lot coming into play, and that's my concern. I mean, if it was one where, we're gonna have these, the part that has to do with construction, I don't think there's gonna be a lot of administration there. There'll
No,
be some bills paid, but this is gonna be, for 20 years into the future.
Yeah, and that's the difference between these documents, is that The development agreement is phase one, the infrastructure, but the cost share agreement is everything,
Everything forever.
yeah.
Like I say, I mean, if that's what the interpretation is, that it's, you know, it's binding as it's described as far as in the definitions, then I guess I can accept it as such, but it's, you know, to me, it's strange that it wouldn't be spelled out within the body of the contract. I mean, that's, you know, every contract has a section that there's definitions, but then the contract has something within it that refers to what those definitions are talking about, and it doesn't contain it in here.
No, it goes into that kind of detail in the definition section. Don't have a good explanation for that, but we had multiple attorneys working on this thing, maybe that's the biggest problem.
So in your opinion, there's a comfort factor with Malcolm
Yeah, he's fine.
bringing
with
this to us?
Yeah, he says it's okay.
Anybody else have any questions?
No?
In that being the case, I think we need to bring it to motion. Is there a motion to accept or not accept phase one development agreement and the cost share cooperation agreement?
I think you should do them separately.
Separately?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do that because it was on here. Then I'll take that back. Is there a motion for the acceptance of the phase one development agreement?
I'll move.
Second?
There's a motion and a second. This is La Puerta Phase One Development Agreement. Motion and
Who
a
was
second.
the second?
Carol.
Carol. Are there any more questions or comments? Roll call.
Lonnie,
Yes.
Leone,
Yes.
Bolton.
Yes.
Griego,
Yes.
Lopez,
Yes.
Carabino. Abstain. McKay.
Yes.
Gotta back up on that. Commissioner Terrabino, what is your purpose for abstention?
Well, I just wasn't here, I mean, I was not a party to it at all, I know none of the things that goes on. So I'm
Actually, you
just
were.
saying I didn't,
You've never seen this agreement before? Okay. Okay, item number 2, cost share and cooperation agreement. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
And second?
Motion and a second. Motion by Commissioner Bolton, second by Commissioner Valani. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Lonnie,
Yes.
Leone,
Yes.
Bolton,
Yes.
Griego,
Yes.
Lopez,
Yes.
Carabino,
abstain.
McKay.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Are there any other items of business to come before us this evening, which would be in relationship to what's on the agenda? Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Or a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. If there are no dissenting votes, we will call this meeting adjourned.